everybody, it's Nettie Kaye, Grandma Nettie. Say, this is my Grandma Nettie.
This is my Grandma Nettie.
Say, my name is Oakley.
And my name is Oakley.
Yeah, and Oakley is, how old are you?
2. I'm 2.
He's 2. He's my grandson. He's very, very smart. So, today he's going to introduce our special subject of what we're going to learn. What are we going to do today?
A cylinder.
A cylinder, yay! Oakley knows all of his shapes, and so when I show him a cylinder, he knows what a cylinder is. Did you? All right. Now, what's our favorite dog right over here?
Coco.
Come here, Coco. Here, Coco. And this is Coco. Sometimes Coco wears a hat too. And so we have Oakley and Coco. Oh, Mr. Snuggles. Yeah. We are on drawing lesson number 2 for our beginning drawing class, just to refresh your memory on how to create three-dimensional shapes in pencil. And then it's, of course, the same principles are going to apply to your painting and even to your sculpting. So let's get these down, and then you can do just about anything. Think about it. Your cylinders are everything from your neck to a tree to an elephant trunk, all sorts of things. And they will be partly what you need to learn in order to do drapery behind somebody. We use cylinders and cones for those basic shapes of drapery. So all of these things are so important for you to learn. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to take a piece of cardboard. Now this cardboard, I'm going to put this in the dark side of the screen. This cardboard is just one that I got a bunch of paintbrushes in, and so I thought it's a perfect size for what we're using today. I'm going to set that onto my newsprint here, and I will make a parallel mark, one on one side, and I'm going to make sure that that's pretty close to the same distance down. Now what I could do is measure halfway into the, if I had a ruler, hello, I would measure halfway into the object or the cylinder and take a mark and move it below these 2 lines, okay? So it's in the middle and it's below about an inch. I'm going to go an inch down here. And then I'm going to take this line and I'm going to shoot for that center point. It's kind of like when you're driving, you just keep your eye on the road and you'll get there eventually. And then I'm going to come back around here and I'm going to do the same on this side and connect it up. So it's a bit like what the kids might call a jump rope or a little smile, like this, where it has a definite center point, but you just shoot for it and then work your way back up. Now, I'm going to do the same thing up here on the top. So I've got these 2 lines are the same. I'm going to come down and we'll measure it again, right dead center. And if I put a line across there, then I can tell, okay, it's about an inch down here. And again, I'm just eyeballing this right at the moment. So if you want to get really technical, you really can. You can get your ruler out and get all fussy. But I kind of enjoy the art of it, all right? So now we'll go and do the same thing here. I'm going to make that same, I'm going to aim towards that dot like this, and then come back around. And you can do this in one line if you want. You don't have to take it from both sides, but you get that kind of little jump rope thing going on like that. So it's the same, all right? With one mistake that the kids make an awful lot is they'll get this down, and then they'll come down here and just make a straight line across. Wrong. You have to curve the line at the bottom the same angle as the top. And I think I've got this a little bit deep, but oh well, we're not going to worry about it. Okay, so we'll have the same curve at the bottom as we do at the top. And what I have to avoid now is making a football out of it. I don't want these to be pointed. So first off, now I'm going to go back in, and then I'll make another line I'm just going to go point to point, and then I'll make a dot right about in the middle of those, just a little ways up above, halfway between again. And I'm going to make the letter, this just helps me a little bit. I'll make the letter C so that I know that it's round, and then a backwards letter C. And then I'm going to shoot for the upper one and come back around a little bit. Now, one of the things that I've done, and it's really kind of fun, I've taken, you know how you get food from the deli or old, containers or something, the black plastic ones. And in my classroom, I've just taken those and cut various different sizes of ellipses. And so, just standard sizes from about this size up to a full paper plate even. And I've made them in different kinds of ellipses. And then I just pick one and stick it on and trace it if I'm looking for that accuracy. So I do the accurate thing on the little deli plates, and then I cut out the forms. It's really, really a good way to recycle, but also to know what that little form looks like a little bit, so that you don't accidentally make a circle. All right. So, okay. What I've got going here is a 6B, and this seems to be my new favorite pencil right now, the 6B pencil, and that's what I drew that in with. But because this is so large, I'm now going to use a piece of soft pastel. This is chalk pastel, and this is in a middle tone. I've got a couple of different shades, and I think I'm going to go with the lighter one to start with. And I'm going to fill in this entire thing by putting it on its side. I'm not drawing with it, turning it on its side, and I'm filling it in with this middle tone. If you watched the last video, one of the things that I'm going to continuously repeat is that we get a three-dimensional object by drawing it and filling it in with a middle tone. So we fill the whole thing, we draw the basic shape of something, we fill it in with a middle tone. Now I'm going to skip that because that's where the light is. I'm going to have the light coming from over here. Ooh, left-handed. Okay, and so I've got this, and so now I'm going to go in with, okay, this time because it's a larger object, I'm going to take a paper towel instead of a tortillon, and I'm going to blend that with a paper towel, or you can use a piece of old cotton cloth or whatever, and it will blend in really nicely, okay, like that. And then I can go back in and kind of take away the mess over here. So on top of that, I'm going to now go in with the darker color, the darker stick, and because I've got the light coming from here, I'm going to now come not clear to the edge because it goes back into space, and I'm going to just give a little bit of a, actually I can turn this, if I had a shorter piece it would work better, but I'm going to just kind of create a little dark area. This is called the core shadow on the object. The core shadow, again, is the shadow that is on or in the object, not cast by the object. Okay, so it's not a cast shadow, it's a core shadow. It's the shadow that is the primary shadow on the object. So there it is right there. And then I'll go back in with my little cloth again, and I'm going to merge the two, the dark with the light, with the middle tone. I'm just going back and forth, wiggle, 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 back and forth between the two tones, just to kind of make them look as though they belong. So now you can see there's a reflective light on this side of the object, and this side is the same. And then we will, we can either do it with an eraser, or we can do it, I'm going to test this out. I'm going to see if this works. Number one, I've got a white piece of charcoal, and now I'm going to come in with the light chalk, and I'm going to put the light side of the cylinder. Now these are the lessons that I teach children from the ages of 5 and a half or 6. Now I've moved it to 6 just because I'm getting too old. But 6-year-old all the way up to adults in my, well, I only teach children in my Wee da Vinci class, but I have classes, but I have on occasion taught adults as well. I find the kids are a little more reliable in showing up. Isn't that fun? Yeah. So I finally just gave up and started teaching children. And you know what? I love it. I love teaching them. Okay, so now I have the dark core shadow and I have the highlight, which is also not to the edge of the object. Now, if I were really getting realistic, I would not have a line around it. Okay, if I could get rid of that line, it would look even more realistic, but then you wouldn't be able to see what shape it is very well on the camera. So now I'm going to go back in again, and I'm going to very, very carefully, and with my cloth, a clean part of the cloth, rub. I'm not rubbing down the middle. I'm just taking the edges of the white and moving it, merging it in, or marrying the two tonal values with one another to where it looks like this. And then on the top, I would also go in and put in the light part of the top, which is the ellipse. It's nice because I'm working on a newsprint, which is not white. It's a cream-colored newsprint. It's getting more cream-colored as time goes on. It looks like this one's been around the block for a while. So there we go. There's that. Now, again, with everything else, I always want to make sure that we have what's called a cast shadow. And so from here, I will now go in, take my, I've got my, we'll just start here again where this curves out from the light, and then I'll go up just about maybe an inch up from here, from an inch up from the bottom of the line. You can see how dark it is. So we're going from a very, very, very dark, I'm just giving it a really dark shadow this time. Now the center, again, the center of a shadow is darker than the outer edges. So for instance, if I took that and then I took a lighter charcoal right next to it, or a pastel next to it, and began blending that to where it's not just solid black. Solid black, you know what that makes it look like? Makes once again, it makes it look like there's a hole in the table. And I want it nice and kind of soft. All right, everybody. So at this stage, I'm going to use a Q-tip, or I can also use a rag. Now, on some of my smaller drawings, the one that we just did, we used what's called a tortillon, or a stump, a paper stump, and what that is, and they come in a couple of different sizes. It's just rolled paper that's rolled very, very tightly, as I said before in our previous video. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Q-tip and just fuzz that in a little bit, and then I will work the shadow out, and of course I got to get the right shape of the shadow. That'd be silly, but and we'll give it a little bit of a column shadow as it goes out into space like this. And it gets lighter as it goes away from the object, and also lighter as it goes away from the center of the shadow. So this part's very, very dark, and then this part gets lighter and lighter and fuzzes out into infinity a little bit. So I like to get a little bit less of a hard line right here. So I'm going to take my little kneaded rubber eraser and tone it down. Now, this paper is newsprint, which is wonderful for practicing, and sometimes I get such marvelous things on it. I wish it was a little more permanent in its the way it is, but anyway, so there is what I would deem our cylinder. Now, when I work with the kids, one of the things that we're going to re-emphasize each time is that in order to get a three-dimensional object to look as though it's three-dimensional in space, I will often place it on a table. So this is how we do it. This is how we do it. We're going to go like this, and we come up to the object, jump over the object and put in the table behind. And there it is. Okay, I hope that helped you today. We will continue, and I may do a little bit of another video. I'm doing a wedding portrait that I'd like to share with you and some florals, but we will continue with our shapes in the near future. So let me know what you think, and if you learned something and you'd like to learn more, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Really nice. And what other kind of animals do we have? What does Grandma have that hides under the bed?
The Jojo.
Jojo the cat.
Jojo the cat.
And Lulu. And Lulu. And so we're just getting, and Oakley is very good at walking the dog. He can actually walk this dog because he's very, very small.
Large.
He's small.
Yeah, it's small.
Can you walk Big Mochi?
I know.
No, what happens?
Fall over.
I fall over, and does the tail get in your face?
Yeah.
Sometimes she's crazy. She's really big.
I'm older now.
Okay, can you say bye to everybody?
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next time.
I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.